You guys are getting really advanced. No, I mean it. It's like you guys take the bar and just move it so far up the totem pole so quickly, it's wild. The sheer amount of very well thought out and intricate theories that I'm seeing in the comment section, it's just unreal, and I never would have thought that we'd be having these kinds of discussions the way that we are. That's a testament to you guys, so please make sure to keep the theories coming. If there was one thing that truly intrigued me about the comments lately is that a majority of them are mentioning the Cube Queen's return in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I think that is super possible, and who knows, she could just come straight out of left field at absolutely any time, and it could be pretty unexpected. Our first comment today comes from Hunter Collins. Hunter says, Dr. P, I have an insane theory for you and could be a great video. We'll see. Could we potentially see a civil war between the Seven in the future? It's very clear at this point that the Seven are having problems, and a huge theme to those problems are trust and loyalty. It seems to stem from the paradigm. I see an ongoing divide among the group revolving around her, and it's a bigger deal than what everyone is making it out to be. The phrase comes to mind, united we stand, divided we fall. Could the group separate into two factions once Paradigm arrives on the island? Could we see a war between the members of the Seven themselves? Is this how the IO will come out on top or gain an advantage? The two sides would obviously separate into the following groups. Side 1 with Paradigm, the Scientist, the Imagined, and the other sister. Side 2 would probably be the Foundation, the Origin, the Visitor, and possibly Jones to even it all out. If this theory comes to pass, we could be in for a wild ride. Personally, I'd be on the side of the Paradigm, because if she turns out to be Singularity, then her betrayal would be completely justified because she saved the island and loopers from destruction at the hands of the Devourer. To this day, we still don't fully know for sure the exact reasons for why the Seven are mad at the Paradigm, and I think Hunter brings up a good point here. If she turns out to be Singularity and they're mad at her because she built this mech and fought against the Caddis, you know, it doesn't seem like something that would be super bad anyway. You just beat this giant monster that was trying to destroy the island. I'm sure it's way more complicated than just that though, but you gotta admit, on the outside looking in, it doesn't seem like if she is Singularity, what she did should be punished so harshly. Of course though, we know there is a huge divide in the group right now, and they're all kind of sneaking around each other's backs. This whole Civil War concept is really cool, because that's kind of what we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks really on this channel, but that is the perfect way to phrase it. United we stand, divided we fall. I think that is a very powerful message and is relevant in a lot of ways just in general in life, but especially in this Fortnite storyline scenario. Jones is on the record saying that the IO knows, or at least thinks, that the Seven are a unified group, and they believe that's why they've been so successful in fighting back against them up to this point. But if that were to fall apart and the Seven were to physically start fighting each other, that would take their mind off of the real goal, and in that case the IO would probably win. Great comment, thanks Hunter. Next up we've got Mythic Wolf, who says the Cube Queen tricking him could be possible. He, of course, being the Cube King, being Origin. Assuming that they were married, Origin's bio stated that he has a past littered with betrayal. So it could be possible that the Cube Queen mentally and emotionally manipulated him into doing what she wanted him to do. Origin also appears to be the most human of the two, so there's a large possibility that he actually genuinely was in love with her to the point of not questioning what she wanted him to do. So if she comes back again and is aware that her husband is there, again, assuming they were married, it's likely that she'd be able to manipulate him to join her again. We also don't know what the Origin's mental state is like, nor how long the IO had him imprisoned and tortured for. Judging from the Origin's theme, it's likely that the IO captured him in the moment he arrived in Reality Zero right after leaving the last reality, which means that he likely didn't have enough time to fully process everything before they started to torture torture him. Because of that, he might still be vulnerable to the Queen's mental manipulation, which could make him betray the Seven if she plays her cards right. I would also like to mention the fact that he and the sisters were MIA during the end event in Chapter 2, so it's possible that he wasn't even on the island during that time, aware that his allegiance could potentially be strayed. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's any reference or mention of anything about these two characters actually being married. Who knows how the Cube Queen actually came to power? Maybe when the Origin left the last reality, they just appointed the Cube Queen, or she moved up the ranks and became the queen. This is a really interesting theory, but a lot of the points heavily hinge on whether or not they were actually married. If anybody finds a mention that they were, let me know, and then we'll have a completely different conversation. Next up, we have El Cheese, who takes a super interesting approach and kind of twist this around in a way that we haven't really talked about. We've talked about the Origin possibly betraying the Seven. Well, this comment says, my theory is that the Origin can be trusted and even used for info on the IO because he was an IO prisoner. So he could have eavesdropped on a conversation from Sloan or Gino, and maybe the Origin, when he escaped, he kept the blueprints for the secret Doomsday device, and he is working with the scientists to build one and destroy the IO's Doomsday device. Super unique approach. Hadn't even thought about this, but yes, it's possible that he could have information on the IO that he could tell the Seven. But that's not all. He also definitely has insider information on the last reality if the Cube Queen ever shows back up. Who knows what the Origin was able to overhear or catch on to while he was locked up as a prisoner? Probably not a ton, because they had him locked up in a room and were torturing him, but you can't rule it out, and for that reason, I think it's an awesome theory. Now that you know a little bit more about the Cube Queen, the Origin, and the rest of the storyline that we discussed, make sure to click the next video here on the screen to dive into even more theories. Come on, you're already here, you might as well.